Backwards legislation, and this governor is an idiot for signing these bills.
It's an example of a bill that is solving the wrong problem.
Clovis Mayor Jose Flores and the City Council tearing into a new piece of legislation that Governor Newsom signed into law that states all law enforcement must reveal all their military-grade equipment and purchases every single year to the City Council. The law goes into effect at the end of this month. So is it allowing criminals to get their hands on the tactical handbook or playbook of police? We want to welcome our panel back in, Henry Perea and Pastor Jim Franklin. And Henry, I'll start with you. You've been on the Fresno County Board of Supervisors, obviously the City Council. This is something new for law enforcement. You heard from the Clovis mayor. Does this bring criminals a little bit more into the insight of what police can do on any situation?
You know, having served on both those bodies and also having been a reserve police officer with the city of Fresno, I would say no. I mean, I think that would be giving the criminal element too much credit for tactical planning and thinking. That's just not there. I think I would approach it from a business perspective. I mean, if I'm in charge of a $2 billion budget, say at the county, or $1 billion or so at the city of Fresno, I want to know when my departments come to me what they're wanting to buy, what they're going to use it for, and et cetera. I mean, that doesn't give the criminal element any type of advantage. And I think I'd mentioned earlier, I mean, there was a real-time incident when I was in one of those two elected bodies where our public safety department took control of a helicopter and did not notify the board at all about what they had. But we ended up finding out it was a very old helicopter, because most military equipment that comes to a city or county is very used. It's outused its life. And it was about a $2 million fix. So we as a board believed that we had the right to weigh in on whether that was the appropriate use of $2 million or not. You know, putting more cops on the street or redoing a helicopter. So I have no problem with a policy requiring that every year an elected body with its law enforcement folks justify their need for equipment.
Let me take this maybe a little bit further, and maybe I'm a little far-fetched, but we do have some politically charged city councils. Can we agree on that?
Sure.
Can we agree on that, right? So I'm wondering, it's not defunding the police. We understand that. It's not. But could it be a situation where the city council could not approve some of this military-grade equipment, and so it's de-weaponizing police in any way? Could it come to that?
Well, I want to give law enforcement every advantage that we can give them. I want to support them in every way we can with the materials and the equipment that they need. Now, I'd yield to Henry, obviously, when you're talking about these type of expenditures and managing the budgets, what needs to be done there. But I'm always going to lean to the side of law enforcement to, again, give them every advantage that we can and not in any way shackle them from being able to protect us as citizens.
So is the Clovis mayor wrong that this is not backwards legislation?
Well, I guess what I would caution any local elected official is that Sacramento and Washington listen to their local bodies, and to make a statement and you know, make, as the mayor of Clovis made of the governor, it's not the smart card, because someday Clovis is going to need something from Sacramento, some type of resource, and they're going to be picking up the phone and calling the governor, and somebody's going to remind the governor of that comment. So I think they're best to stay on the issue and not necessarily get personal with elected bodies at the federal or state level, because you're going to need them.
Sadly, we've gotten to the point that we've become so partisan on politics that we've made everything personal. I disagree with politicians all the time. I disagree with the governor on several issues, and city council, mayors, and all of that. But we've got to be able, at the end of the day, that if we don't make it personal, be able to sit down with one another and still be able to disagree agreeably. And when you bring the personalities into it and you start calling people names, it just begins to degrade from there.
Real quick, I want to finish on this. This week, the Henry Madden Task Force assembled to look into if the former librarian who was there for years, Henry Madden, and now his namesake on the library as we know it, was in any way a racist, pro-Nazi, anti-Semitic, and they came up with a 71-page review, scanned over 100,000 documents and letters written by or on Henry Madden. They came up with a lot of material that was anti-Semitic. Is it now a no-brainer that we change the name?
Well, first I'd want to know what the policy of the university system was in naming buildings after people in the first place. You know, what is the policy? How is it reviewed? I will bet, like many government agencies, they don't really have a real detailed one. But it's tough. I mean, when you're dealing with human beings and then naming things after them, I mean, we all have our failures in life, you know, and who knows how that spotlight is going to be shined upon them. In this particular case, Henry Madden, I understand, had some files in the library that were sealed or closed.
And it took years for it to come to light.
Yeah.
And it's now. What is your thoughts on this?
Well, to quote a book I like to quote, all of us have sinned and come short. Just like Henry said, we've all got skeletons there in our closet. But yet, when we name a building or name something of this nature after a person, then yeah, we want to know a little bit more about them, and do they represent the type of person in their public life that would be an example. And so, again, you got to go back to the policy. That's above my pay grade to make that decision. But that would be my criteria that I would look at.
Yeah. By the way, you're not getting paid on the show. Just want to let you know.
Okay.
But Henry Perea, Pastor Jim Franklin, thank you so much. Appreciate it.